I'm going to put them up here. This one here. I have opened them all because I've had a nibble. They're quite nice. But let's put that one here. Like that. Cadbury. Who likes Cadbury Heroes? Who like? Okay. Next, I've got After Eights. Like After Eights. Okay. Put these here. And finally, Thornton's Classics. Yeah, we like that. Who likes them? Who wants the box? Okay. How about I choose someone from the blue team? Yes, do you want to come up? In fact, you stay there a sec. Which one do you want? Do you want After Eights? What do you reckon, After Eights? No, okay. Miniature Heroes. Do you want Miniature Heroes? Yeah? Shall we go for Miniature Heroes? Okay. Here you go. You can open it if you want. Sit. What? What? Banana? Inside it? Is that what you expected? That's not why. Why was that in there? Okay, well, let's do something else then. How about red team? Red team. Yes. Yeah. Do you want to stand up? So you don't really want Miniature Heroes, we decided. Do you want After Eights? No, do you want Thornton's Classic? Thornton's Classic. Okay. Shall I open it just to make sure that it's okay? They do look nice, don't they? I like the long, thin honeycomb one. It's my favourite. Let's see what you get. It's not quite what you'd expect. On the outside, you think Thornton's Classics. Look inside. Smelly. Oh, no, I'm going to keep it. Sorry. It's not what I thought. We've got one more. Green team. Solomon, stand up. I guess you want the After Eights. Do you want to come and grab an After Eight? I hope there's something good in there. Do you want to open it and see? Huh! It's a chocolate. Oh, it's not what we expect, but you got a chocolate. Let's give Solomon the clap. Well done, Solomon. That was peculiar, wasn't it? You look on the outside of these boxes, what you'd expect Thornton's Classics, you'd expect After Eights, you'd expect Miniature Heroes, but there's something different on the inside. We can't tell what's inside the boxes just by looking at the outside, can we? We need to look inside to see what's really in it, see whether it's really worth getting the box. Now, all this week, we're going to be looking at some true stories from the Bible. And we're going to be looking at some people who lived thousands of years ago, thousands of years. And these people were called the Israelites. The Israelites. Can you say Israelites? Israelites. Good. And they lived in a place called Israel. Can you say Israel? Good. Now, these people were very, very special. And I'll tell you why they're special. Because they are God's special chosen people. God had chosen the Israelites to be his special people. And they had a king. And this king was called King Saul. And he looked very impressive. He was really tall. How high can you reach? There we go. He was really, really tall. And he had big muscles. Let's see your big muscles. Some very big muscles. And he had a very handsome face. See your handsome face? I don't have one. Unbelievable. So tall, big muscles, handsome face. Do you think he looked like an impressive king? Do you think that he looked like a good king? Well, he might have looked impressive, but actually, he wasn't a very good king. See, on the outside, he looks great, but on the inside, he had a heart that was against God. He had a heart that didn't want to listen to God, that didn't want to obey God. And so King Saul was not a good king. And God didn't like to see his people, the Israelites, being ruled by a king with a heart that was against God. And so, one day, this is really exciting, God came down to a man called Samuel, and he said, Samuel, I am going to choose a new king for my people. This is so exciting. God is going to choose a new king. Do you think God is going to choose a good king or a bad king? What do you reckon? Good king. I reckon God is going to choose a good king. So, God sent Samuel to find a man called Jesse. Here we go, there's a J for Jesse. And Jesse, he lived in a place called Bethlehem. Now, Jesse had lots and lots of sons. And God had told Samuel that one of Jesse's sons is going to be the new king of Israel. So, who was it going to be out of all of Jesse's sons? Let's have a look. Son number one, the oldest one, came up to Samuel. And he was called Eliab. And Eliab, can you say Eliab? Eliab, good. He was really, really tall. Really tall. He had big muscles and a handsome face. He looked impressive. He looked on the outside like he was going to be a great king. And Samuel, he looked at Eliab and he thought, this is the man that God has chosen to be king. Surely, look at him. Do you think Eliab was the chosen king of Israel? What do you reckon? Well, God came to speak to Samuel, and God said, Samuel, don't look at Eliab in the same way that other people do. See, don't really take notice of Eliab and how tall he is. Don't look at how big his muscles are. Don't look at how handsome his face is. See, God sees people differently to how we see. This is really important. Look at this. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Shall we say that together? People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So it's a bit like this. These chocolate boxes, they look like they're going to be really good on the outside, but it's only when we look inside can we see whether it's good or not. And God's people need a king with a heart that is for God, a heart that wants to listen to God, a heart that wants to obey God. Could Samuel see Eliab's heart? He couldn't, could he? Could Jesse see Eliab's heart? If you were there, could you see Eliab's heart? You see, the only person who can see Eliab's heart, whether he has a heart that is for God or a heart that is against God, is God himself. God, only God can see your heart. And so only God can choose the next king of Israel. You see, God's people need a king whom God has chosen. So Eliab was not the man that God has chosen to be king. He'd seen his heart, and it wasn't for God. So the next brother came up, and his name was Abinadab. Can you say Abinadab? 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 He was tall. He had big muscles. He had a handsome face. He looked like a king, but his heart, he wasn't the right king for Israel. He had a heart that was against God. And then the next brother came up, and his name was Shammah. Can you say Shammah? Shammah. Was he the king that God has chosen, do you think? He wasn't. God said he didn't have the right heart. He didn't have a heart that was for God. And so then the next brother came up, and the next brother, and the next brother, and the next brother. 7 brothers came up to Samuel. But for each one God said, no, he doesn't have a heart that's for me. He is not the king I have chosen. And after those 7 brothers had come up, Samuel's like, he looked around. There were no more brothers around. No more brothers. And he said to Jesse, the dad, Jesse, all the brothers are here, surely. What about the other ones? Have you got any more sons? Because God has said one of your sons is going to be the king of Israel. Jesse said, no, I've got no more sons. Oh, wait, no. I've got one more son. The trouble is, he's outside in the field with sheep. But Samuel said, no, call him in, let's have a look at him. So in came this son. He had been with the sheep. And you can imagine what he was looking like. He was probably covered in mud. He probably stank of sheep. And he probably had messy and greasy hair. Do you think he looked like the next king of Israel? He didn't look like it, I don't think. Do you think he smelled like the next king of Israel? I don't think so. but something that's really surprising. God said, this boy, he is the one that I have chosen. He is the one who's going to be king of my people, who's going to lead my people. You see, God wasn't looking at the outward appearance of this boy. He wasn't looking at that. What was he looking at? He was looking at the heart. And he saw in this boy a heart that wasn't against God, but a heart that was for God. A heart that wanted to listen to God, and a heart that wanted to obey God. And this boy's name was David. And he was going to be the king of God's people. This is what God's people needed. And all this week, we're going to be looking at this boy called David and how he grew up and later on became king over all of God's people. But later on today, we're going to be looking for an even better king than King David. Because God chose a king who had an even better heart than David.